Hey everybody, Scott Johnson here and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. By the way, thanks for all the feedback. You guys seem to like these little mini reviews. It's not going to be just video games. It's going to be a bunch of stuff. So today we're talking comic books. I love the X-Men and I love everything about most of the X-Men titles and have for years, but I'm not Mr. Knows everything about every series, every run, every artist, every writer, every character, or any of that. So I want to disclaim this conversation early that I am not an X-Men expert, but I know I like some X-Men when I read it. So you might be asking yourself, Scott, what are you talking about today? Is it something new? Is it hot off the presses? Is it the new movie coming out? Is it one of those things? No. It's about the Astonishing X-Men in 2004, specifically the run that Joss Whedon and John Cassaday put together. This was their run. Joss Whedon, of course, famous for things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Dollhouse. You got your Avengers, your Alien 4. He wrote that. Did you guys know that? He totally wrote Alien 4, man. I actually really like Alien 4. I'm not going to talk smack about no Alien 4 on this show right now. So as green as I am on overall, overarching situations in the world of the X-Men, I know that this is my favorite run of all the books and of all the series and of all the everythings. And I can't quite put my finger on it except to say that I think for a lot of us, Joss Whedon sort of speaks our language. And he does that here in this book. It's a great time, actually, to catch up on like older comics like this because we have great new ways to consume it. So if you have an iPad or some sort of Android tablet or a computer or whatever, you can get a lot of this archival stuff relatively cheaply by issue to issue in apps like Comixology, or do what I've done, which is I have a year subscription, and I'm going to re-up it because I really like it, to Marvel Unlimited, whose app used to be kind of crap and is now way better than it used to be. And I'm consuming really old Marvel stuff kind of just at my leisure. And this was one I read back in the day and had physical copies and all that. But I thought, I haven't read that in a while. I'm going to plop down in bed tonight and I'm going to start reading it. And then I couldn't stop. I couldn't put it down. It was a cool run. One of the things I liked about it was the focus on Kitty Pryde as a character, as a strong female protagonist. She's not normally one that you see put in the kind of situation she was put in. She's coming back to the school. She's going to be a teacher now, or an administrator, or some combination of those things. She's a little bit iffy about her chances. She feels inadequate to the job. She's going to have to work with people that used to be her teachers, people like Logan and, Scott Summers and everybody else. So it's a big deal for her. Whedon is, of course, known for his strong female characters and protagonists, whether it be somebody like Buffy and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or other examples I can't think of right now. But he's good at it. We know that. It's accepted truth. Joss Whedon, you're good at the ladies. Probably shouldn't have said it that way. No spoilers here, but they bring back some pretty cool characters that are supposedly dead. Let's say there's one in particular who is supposed to be deceased, as often happens in comic books. And I know it's been a while, but this is actually something I don't want to spoil. It's a fun reveal. And if you're reading these comics at all and you somehow skipped that run, you already know that this person's back in various incarnations and various storylines and books. So it isn't that big of a spoiler, but I'm still not going to tell you. I think you should read it and kind of see for yourself. It's a nice reveal. Let's just say it's of particular interest to Miss Pryde. Okay? All right. I also have a real fondness for the characterization of Beast in this. Hank is usually treated in these comics sometimes in ways I don't like. Either they've gone too far the one direction, which is he's this super nerdy, way too intelligent, everyone's beneath him, scientist guy, and that's all he does is sort of the Kelsey Grammer style version of him from the Last Stand movie, which wasn't very good, but you know what I mean. That kind of, here's the studious professor. On the other hand, he's sometimes portrayed as just purely animalistic, devolving quickly into the panther he will one day become or whatever, and just tearing everybody to pieces, and he's far too physical, and they don't focus enough on, again, his intelligence side. Here is a story where they get him exactly right. It is the right amount of both of those things. The way they show kind of his sensitivity to other characters and the situations they're in is really masterful. It's some of the best stuff ever. And so if you're a fan of Beast, like I am, then you'll really like the way he's shown here. Also, for my money, some of the best Logan/Wolverine dialogue you're ever likely to get. I think he is downright hilarious. It's rare that I laugh out loud while reading a comic. In fact, very rare. I'm laying next to my wife and she's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm like, "A comic." I can't even believe I'm laughing at a comic. It's because that guy's a freaking hoot. And there's a really great exchange between him and the Thing. When the Fantastic Four are helping him out during a sequence, there's no spoilers there. His sort of making fun of Canadians conversation with the Thing is quite a hoot. I guess he's not doing it, the Thing is, but it's a great interaction between these two snarky characters. And there's stuff like that throughout. Logan is really well portrayed here. Scott Summers, for my experience, is a little broody in this thing. He's a little bit whiny, a little too dark and emo. He's going through some stuff, you know, trying to lead, and on the other hand, he's fallen for Emma Stone, and that's weird, right? It's uncomfortable. I don't know. I feel like if there's any weakness in all of this, it's that they've just made him too much. I've got to lead and dark, and I got to and just be pissed the whole time. I kind of wish he was a little less of that. And I know that's kind of a popular thing to do with Cyclops these days, but still, I would like him to be in a little bit more chipper. Yeah, I said Emma Stone. I meant Emma Frost. You know what I meant. Put your emails away. Tuck your keyboard back. Stand away from the computer. Let your internet rage pop off someplace else. I meant Emma Frost. I said Emma Stone. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean Spider-Man's current girlfriend. That's who's in that new one, right? The villain character, or villainous character called Ord, who is this alien dude who's come to do a very specific thing because he has some prophecy that his planet will be destroyed. His break world planet will be destroyed by a mutant, and so he's hell-bent on destroying everybody in order to make that not happen. He's okay. I could have done without the cat whiskers. You know, design-wise, he had some issues, but he's fine. He's fine. He's fighting the battle. He's doing what he's got to do. He even has reasons that seem kind of reasonable if you think about him. So easy to hate Agent Brand in this series. If you're familiar with any of the X-Men comics since then, you'll be familiar with her. She has green hair. Lots of storylines deal with her. Again, not going to get into spoilers here, but what a jackass. She really kind of represents that whole freedom at any cost, and how great can that cost be in some cases. The military-industrial complex, all that kind of stuff rolled into one. S.H.I.E.L.D. running amok and doing things that even the government aren't aware that they're doing, and her being willing to sacrifice all for one single order or principle or whatever. She's so easy to hate, but she's totally hot with the green hair. Oh, yeah. It's also weird seeing Nick Fury again with white guy gray hair. You know? I feel like Samuel Mother effin' Jackson has kind of changed the way we see Nick Fury. So seeing Nick Fury in the old classic way is kind of weird for me now. I'm used to seeing the new Nick Fury in comics too. So it's not a problem. Just throws you for a loop. You're reading through that book and you're like, oh yeah, Nick Fury's a middle-aged white dude. Good times. So to wrap things up, what really makes this book special is Whedon's writing. It's top-notch. It's as good as it gets, and I kind of wish there was a way to have him back in comics. He's so involved now over at Disney and Marvel, and that's great, and we want Avengers 2, and we loved Avengers 1, and we can't wait to see what he does with these characters and maybe new projects, and all that stuff is great. But man, can he just have one of those moments where he's like, I want to have a personal project. Somebody give me Daredevil or something, and let me sit down for a weekend. Let me write an amazing story, and it doesn't have to be very long. Let's do 20 issues again. I guess this was like 25 issues, but let's just do a nice short run. Let's get a good artist on board. Just do that once in a while. Just a way to be like a cathartic pressure valve release thing. I don't even have words for it. That's how bad this is. I really want Joss Whedon to get back into it. And I should say, Cassiday's art is really freaking rad. It is the kind of story that makes me want to share it with my kids. I immediately wanted to figure out a way to get my daughter on her iPad and get that account on there and let her read these comics, because I know she's just going to love it. It's the kind of thing you want to share with other people. I don't feel that way about all comic books. There are some comic books where I'm just like, yeah, okay, this is no good for everybody else, but this one I want to share with people and give it to them. But it does make you wonder, if Marvel and Disney had the rights to their own property and Fox didn't have the rights to X-Men right now, what kind of stuff would we get? Would we get something on par with what Whedon's already done here? Probably. And it would probably be super rad. Anyway, I'm going to give this thing 5 out of 5. Oh, bald Professor Xavier heads. Can't get much higher than that. I'll be back next time, after I hit the microphone, with more reviews, video games, comics, whatever. Whatever you guys are in the mood for. Leave me in the comments. Don't be trolly. I'm just going to delete you if you're trolly. Constructive stuff. That's what we like here at FROGPANTS TV. If you have any questions for me, ask me on Twitter, @ScottJohnson. That's going to do it. See you next time.